Welcome to That's What She Said, where we'll spill the tea on women empowerment in the Great Lakes Bay region with your host, Christiana Malacara.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of That's What She Said. Thank you so much for tuning in as we spill the tea each and every week with a wonderful, wonderful woman from the Great Lakes Bay region. My name is Christiana Malacara, and like I said, thank you. Every week when you tune in, or if this is your first time tuning in, essentially what you're doing is helping yourself grow. If that's with a thought, an idea that you've just been sitting in, or just kind of just a reflecting hour. Thank you for being here. If you're listening to us live, it is Thursday at 1:30. If you're listening to us on the radio waves or at WSGW.com, it is Saturday morning at 8 a.m. or Sunday at 6 p.m. We can also... You can also listen to us in podcast format on everywhere that you get your favorite podcast. So I wanted to mention a couple things before I introduce our wonderful guest. One thing that, I guess I should start here. I started taking a class. Yeah, I know. On top of the many things that are already happening in my life, I started taking a class because, I want to be that person who is a lifelong learner. I want to be able to keep learning all of the things and just be this hub of information. But this class is a little different. The class that I'm taking is about self-growth, development in yourself. And I just attended my first session. And one thing that came from that was something that the teacher said. And they said, don't fit into places that you don't fit. Putting a circle into a square. You remember those block games as a kid, right? The star is not going to go into the triangle. And just, if you don't fit there, remove yourself. Find somewhere where you do fit. And I thought of this many times because I'm one that's like, well, I need to be here. I want to be here. And I'm forcing myself at times to be somewhere that maybe just isn't serving me, or I'm not serving that. And my wealth of knowledge and power can be used somewhere else. So as you navigate through your week until next That's What She Said day, just think about that. Are you somewhere that you're forcing yourself to fit? And do you need to remove yourself? Or is that a place, a person, an organization? Where can you fit best? Because that's where you're going to love yourself the most, to be honest with you. So like I said, thank you for being here. I deeply appreciate it. Your support is unwavering. I want to now introduce our guest. She is just a superstar. I was talking about this woman earlier today, and they said, "Who are you going to have on?" And I was like, and I said her name, and I said, "Wait a minute, BFF, Gina BFF." And then it was kind of like, if you know, it's kind of one of those underground girls where it's like, hey, this is my girl, and everybody knows who she is in one way or another. So without further ado, we have Gina Wegner. Thank you for coming on.
Hi, I'm happy to be here.
I want to say thank you for being here and taking the time. You are a busy woman beautifying women of the Great Lakes Bay region, and that's important stuff. But
fun stuff.
It is fun and important, most definitely. And I for the life of me, I was like, this is Gina BFF. Like, that's just how I know you. For those of you, you know what? We're gonna save that. Gina, how may the community know you?
Well, you may know me from currently I am BFF House of Tans and Tattoos. So I've kind of evolved in a couple different ways. But right now that's what I currently do. I always call it my previous life. I used to do high risk OB ultrasound. I did that for a long time at Women's OB. And a lot of people know me from that. I still go to the grocery store and they're like, you did my ultrasound, which is really great because I think that's where I learned that I wanted to connect with women, and you see a lot there. Mm-hmm. So it kind of got me to this point now. But now I'm your spray tan girl and your tiny tattoo girl. 180, a complete shift.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So BFF Gina here, that's your handle. That's your, I mean, where can, okay. My mind is so excited. I'm all over
You
the
sound
place.
like my mind.
Yeah. This is why we've clicked since day one. So the way that I know Gina essentially is, I needed your services. And it was something where it's like, you talk about these things, right? Spray tan, tiny tattoos, lashes, just like beautifying yourself. But it's not something you necessarily announce to people, right? You're like, oh, I need to do this. I need to do that.
Yeah.
So I actually know Gina through a grapevine. And this is why I say this girl is like, if you know, you know. She's just one of those people that are navigating from woman to woman and meeting wonderful people. And this is the definition of good people attract good people is right here in Gina.
That's sweet. I like believe that wholeheartedly in other people. So it's nice to hear that.
So you started out in the OB world.
I did.
How did that happen?
You know, you graduate high school and you're like, what am I going to do? And you say, oh, it's a 2-year degree at Delta. I'm going to do that. And so I did that. And I really did love OB and all of my training. And I ended up at Women's OB and I had 12 years ish there, give or take. And it was great for a really, really long time. But I think something I've learned about myself over the past few years is that I like to be like stimulated, really. Like I was getting bored. Even though you meet different people, you're kind of just doing the same thing. And me sitting at the desk just wasn't really for me anymore. And a lot of things happened, and that's a whole nother day, but like a lot of things happened, and I was doing lashes on the side for friends. And finally my husband's like, what are you doing? You hate your job, but you love this, and you have 1 million people waiting in line to come to you. What are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I went to school. I took my test. So I ended up quitting and just worked out of my basement for a while because it was 2020 and life was crazy. And then it just kind of evolved. I started spray tanning. And the part of me that was getting bored, looking like a shrimp or a raccoon doing lashes all day, and my body was hurting me, I kind of started looking at the idea of tiny tattoos and tossed it around for about a year. And then I finally said, let's do it. I flew to Utah, learned how to do it, and I love it. And I got out of my house. I'm in a spot called Bellissima, and it's so good. I just feel like I found myself there, if that makes sense.
So you graduated high school and you're like, I have to do something. And you saw the opportunity to just get a certificate in 2 years. It's like, this is going to be, is it safe to say like my quick fix?
I would say I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I ended up taking 4 because I was on a wait list for the program. Like it wasn't really quick. I wanted to make a decent amount of money, but I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I don't feel like I'm almost 40. So when I was in school, it was like you go to college, but nobody really guided you on what to do. You know, I don't know about your parents, but my dad was in the shop for 35 years. My mom's been at Covenant for 45. Like you get a job, you do it, and there's, I don't know. It's not like they wanted a lot for me and I could do whatever I wanted, but I just didn't feel like I knew what I wanted.
Yeah. The direction.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot of creativity. I feel like there is now to jobs. Like you would have never thought like a podcast or doing tattoo, I don't know. I just think I just did it because it was there and easy.
Do you think that if you did have, either your parents or people inspiring you or even a counselor to advise you when you got out of high school, do you think you would have chose something different, like right off the bat?
Honestly, I don't know. I think my parents were very supportive, and they weren't like the parents who are like, you must go to school and you must, like, they would have probably supported me in anything I did. But I just don't think at 18, unless you've, wanted to be a doctor since you were 7. I just don't think you really know. And I feel like the kids that take a year off, quote unquote,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's sometimes really smart because I don't know if maybe, but I just don't think so. I think I needed to grow a little bit as a person.
That's part of it right there.
Yeah.
You know, getting to that maturity and like seeing a bigger scope, right?
Yeah.
Because you're leaving high school. Like, think about this. You're leaving high school and you're like, this is the world that I know.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're actually tossed out into the world. It's like coming out of a movie theater, right? You're just like, oh, whoa, okay, what are we looking at here? Which way do I go? Yeah. Bar lights.
You know that feeling.
No, not at all.
Oh,
I have
never.
What are those? So, okay. So we're going into the real world and we're like, what do I do?
Yeah.
I'm in school. I'm doing the right thing.
Yes. The right thing.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's share a piece of advice. What would you tell someone who, you know, a girl just getting out of high school and was like, which way do I go?
Right.
What would you tell her?
I would say trust what you want or what makes you happy. Like, lean into it. Like, maybe you don't know what that is, but you love planning things and organizing things, and you know, maybe that aspect, or you love hanging out with groups of women, or you like lean into things like that, because I don't think maybe you'll know the right thing, but you'll hear a lot of people say, well, how are you going to make money doing that? Or how are you going to do that? But I feel like if you find something that you really love, it may not be the thing, but it's going to take you to the thing versus like just doing what you're supposed to do. I think if there's something you love, go do it. And then maybe you find out you don't really love that, but you love this aspect about it. So then you evolve from there. But I think it's really easy to be like, oh, well, but I should do this. Like, who cares? Just do what you want to do. And I think I wish I would have I didn't necessarily have it then, but I worried about what I was supposed to do for so long, not what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? What was right, quote unquote.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think just leaning into you, however way that feels. Obviously, you got to do something.
You got to do something.
Yeah.
But you're saying the journey might be happier, fulfilling.
Yes.
But you did say something quite interesting there. You said it might lead you to the thing.
Right.
Right.
Right. That's what I think.
So do you think on your journey, when you were, you know, at the OB and doing the, you know, with these women, right? Do you think that job led you to the thing?
Oh, 100%.
Why do you say that?
I think I saw a lot of women go through a lot of bad things, right? And I saw a lot of women go through, more women go through amazing things. They're having a baby, you know, and I quickly realized that, we had great physicians, but everybody's personality is different and they need someone in those times, good and bad. And I wanted to be that person for them. And it felt good to be that person for them. And I think that's where I really got my connection of wanting to help women or just be the person to lift them up when they need it, or maybe they don't need it, but I'm just going to be there to say, hey girl, you rock, you know, however way. And I think doing that definitely made me love that aspect of it. I still loved looking at babies. Those were, you know, it was definitely what I loved about ultrasound, but I think the connection with all of the women, and, you know, they'd come in with pregnancy 2, number 3, number 4. And it's like, hey girl, what's up? How's your this? You know, it's like, you're just catching up with people. And that's why I think I really love it so much.
I mean, I don't know much about the medical field.
Yeah.
Never my forte, but I do know that, you know, being a woman, and we've had many people in that chair and talk about going to the ultrasound tech and having this anxiety. You don't know what's going on in there sometimes. It could be extremely dangerous. It could be extremely joyful. You know, there's all types of, you know, it boils down to every body is different, right?
Right.
That in itself is an emotional task.
Yes.
How did you navigate through that at that time?
I think just talking them through, like, obviously you have to read the patient, right? Or the woman that's there for you. Like some just start crying because they just get there and they just like would let it out because they've been so on edge, you know? And I think you just do your best with what you know, all the information that you've, you know, basically collected over the years, and to reiterate them in a way that makes them feel comfortable. Like you definitely have to read the patient to know what they need. And once you do it for a little bit, it's very obvious, like,
Yeah.
you know, but I think it was just listening and say what's bothering you the most, or like what, like actually listening, not acting like I had better things to do or I was in a hurry to get them in and out or this or that. But
is it challenging to be, the definition would be an active listener, right?
it is challenging.
It's
it still challenging because life gets really busy, but I think that's important. I mean, when you're having a hard day and someone asks how you're doing, and if you don't feel that they're really asking that, you're just going to be like, fine, but that's not really it, you know, for a lot of people. And so I think it's important to feel that you can just let it out if you want to. I'm here. I'll just listen.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and that's one thing that women need, is someone to not necessarily hand over what's on their plate to the next person, but to just, like you said, let it out.
Yeah.
So that way it's not bottled up anymore.
Yeah.
And it can be hard to find that woman, you know, or man, or, you know, whoever it is in your life. It can be hard.
Yeah.
But a lot of times as an ultrasound tech, you're that girl.
Oh, yeah. In a lot of ways.
So in a sense, you know, and now the community knows you as BFF Gina.
Yeah. Which is like what I want.
And
in a way.
But I also feel before you became BFF Gina,
Yeah.
you were the BFF to so many women in that room.
Yeah.
You know, it's literally a dark room with you and a wand in the gel.
Yeah. That's it. And it's amazing. Like, I loved that clients now can feel comfortable with me. I think for so long I felt uncomfortable in so many situations, and I made myself small. And I mean, I wasn't the popular girl, especially like middle school and all those awful years. So you learn that you just kind of like make yourself small and feel uncomfortable. And then it finally was starting to click. Like, I don't want anybody ever to feel that way around me. Like, no matter what's going on, whether you're having a miscarriage, whether you're, you know, you have a happy baby, but you don't like your boyfriend right now and he's not here, or you're coming in for a spray tan and, you know, you have to get naked in front of me. I do not care. And it's really important to me to make women feel like they're my BFF, because I mean it. It's not just like oh, whatever. It's like, I know what that feels like, and I don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable around me. So
you're saying in middle school and high school, there was a time where you said you made yourself small.
Oh, yeah.
The Gina I know would never do that.
Yes.
What can we unpack that for a moment?
Yeah.
I mean, we have listeners in all walks of life. And we have events that encourage, you know, parents to bring their daughters.
Yes.
I mean, I have a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
So reflecting back to that, what was that time for you?
It, like middle school especially, was really, really hard, because I don't ever want to classify kids as like cool kids, dorky kids, you know, like everybody has their own thing, but I was not a cool kid by any means. But like, they would talk, because I was on all the sports teams, so they would talk to me or like use me in certain situations, and I would just do whatever because I wanted to be liked, you know. And I just remember looking back, like, how dumb was I? But in that moment, I felt very uncomfortable, and I didn't want to get made fun of. So I would, you know, here, there, and everywhere, and you're awkward and you're going through puberty. And of course, I did that before everyone else. So I
more awkward.
Yeah. So it was an awkward time. Finally, I would say, like, by my senior year in high school, my dad always used to say, oh, Gina, that stuff's never going to matter. Just laugh it off. Just laugh it off. And I remember sitting on the kitchen counter crying and being like, shut up, Dad. You don't know what you're talking about. But it's so true. And my mom always said, you just be nice to everybody. And it all does come around, you know, like, I try to tell my daughter now, because I see those same things, especially in her grade. And I'm like, I'm not going to say what Dad said because that made me mad, but like, just be kind. And that's going to take you a lot farther than, you know, just being mean back or making yourself small. You do you. If you want to wear that outfit, you wear it. Like, if that makes you feel good about yourself, you do it. Because I was just like, oh God, nobody noticed me.
Yeah.
I don't want to get made fun of. And I carried that with me for a long time in different places, right? Like, I wouldn't, but in certain situations, even as an adult, I'll like revert back and go, oh God, maybe.
And I was just going to say that because those traits are sometimes still carry on with us as women.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, here we are sitting in our 30s.
Yeah.
And there's times where I can speak for myself and I'm like, should I say that thing? I don't know. I'm just going to like sit here and my body language will do the talking for me.
Yeah. But
it's common.
It doesn't go away ever completely, I don't think.
So before we break to the second half, I'm going to ask you again, because you are a mom. What is something that you would tell a mom to tell her little girl if she ever felt that way?
I would just encourage her to be her and remind her of the great things about her. We do a lot of like, what do I want to say? Positive talk in our house. Like, and I just keep reiterating them. Like, I love the outfit you chose today, or I love how you picked that. And I try to like say it in a way that they know, like they picked it. No one picked it for them. And just keep reminding them that the choices they're making, as long as they're like good choices, are good, and to be themselves and to just lean in on that, but help them realize it too.
Those are some good tips. So we have Gina Wegner with us, BFF Gina, and we are going to take a quick break, come right back, because we're going to dive in a little bit deeper on how to not be so small and what I should get for a tattoo next. Tune back in.
That's What She Said with Christiana Malacara is back. Now let's spill the tea.
And we're back to the second half of That's What She Said with a BFF, a wonderful BFF, BFF Gina Wegner. Thank you for being on. I appreciate you, Gina.
Thank you for having me.
You're amazing. You were amazing too. I mean, you were just saying in the last half, how to encourage your little ones and have them feel more comfortable in their skin, right? But it's also beyond that. It is definitely beyond that. You have been helping women just be comfortable in their skin for a long time. If it was at the OB office, you know, but now, and you even said it, like past life, new life, like there's a hard reset right here for you.
Reset. Yeah.
You did it. And then this new Gina, she is most definitely helping women feel comfortable in their skin, because you do spray tans.
Yes. Yep. I do spray tans.
And what else?
I do fine line tiny tattoos too. So
what's a fine line tiny tattoo? Is that exactly what it is? I mean,
yeah, it's a small, like I do smaller tattoos. I don't have the heart to do like a full sleeve or anything like that, but like 5 inches and under. A lot of women come in and they do a birth flower bouquet, or they do their dad's handwriting of their maiden name, or they do their husband's name, or something for their dog, or just the cute little tiny ones that are kind of all over. And a lot of my clients, we've kind of evolved into some bigger ones, which is really, really fun too. But I, just the little stuff that's just not like a big black dark thick line tattoo. The fine line is because the needle's a lot smaller, so they're just dainty, and that's why I like them so much.
What has been your favorite, I guess, tattoo you've put on someone?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Like, I was telling someone the other day why I like tattoos so much and I think it's because my brain likes to keep, doing different things, but everybody brings me something different. So I have this one couple, and I was joking around that I need to make a show about them, the adventures of Ben and Grace, because they come in all the time. And she has like birth flowers and profiles and all that stuff of her kiddos. And he just has funky, fun tattoos. They come in, and his very first tattoo was roll the dice, and it was 3 butterflies. And I'm like, you don't have to do 3 butterflies. And he's like, I got 3 kids. Let's do it. So they're just up for anything. So they're really fun to come in. I did Beetlejuice and Bugs Bunny and just fun ones.
All over the place.
Yes. But then, not too long ago, I just had a mom in who had unfortunately lost her daughter. And I did a tribute to her. And that's so special. Like, it's so hard to pick one thing because anything anybody's coming for me or to me for is special. It's either their dog that passed or their grandpa's handwriting or gosh, it just ranges all over. And I think that's what makes it so cool because there's a lot of things that I'm like, I would have never thought of that. And I love it, or their daughter's handwriting.
That's a cute idea.
Yeah, there's so many things. So it's like really hard. Every time I think something's my favorite, I'm like, well, shoot, that one's cool too. Like I just can't pick one.
How does it feel knowing that you're creating artwork on someone that's going to live on them forever?
Yeah, it feels good. And sometimes I sweat a little like, oh my God, this is so much pressure. But I love, I feel great that they chose me to do it. And I definitely take a lot of pride in what I do, which is sometimes I'm a little neurotic but I'm a perfectionist. So that kind of sometimes makes it tricky, but I love it. And
you said that you flew to Utah. You said Utah to study this.
Yep. I did a course online, doing all the online portion for a couple of months. And then I flew to Utah for a week and did hands-on training with the Tiny Tat Club. Sydney is her name. And so I did all that last April. And then I'm going to meet her in Nashville in August to do another portion of training for shading stuff. So it's fun. Yeah, it's cool.
So a perfectionist, does that just live in the tattoo room, or is that something that's a habit throughout life within your lifestyle?
I think with my work it is. I'm a perfectionist, but you're not going to come to my house and have a spotless house all the time. That's for sure.
Hey, I've been to your house. It's really clean. But, okay, there's a difference.
But I had clients coming to the house. Oh. When it's a business, I'm like, okay, but don't go in my bedroom. Yeah.
Same.
Maybe that's where I just let loose. But yeah, I wouldn't say in all areas. But if I'm going to do something, I want to do it very well.
Where do you think that set of habits came from?
I don't know. I think maybe my parents kind of instilled it in me. They were hard workers, very hard workers, both of them, and still are. And I just don't think anything doing, you got to give it your all if you're going to do it, or why do it? And I think maybe I got it from them, I would say, and just kind of evolved from there. And taking pride in your work too. People are coming to you and trusting you for all these things, especially obviously tattoos, because they're never leaving your body. But even when someone comes for a spray tan, I'm like, they are coming here specifically to look good.
Yeah.
So I need to have my A game. I need to make sure their hands blend. I need to make sure the color, a perfectionist in that way, because they're trusting me for something big in their life, and you just want to do a good job for other people and for myself too, but mainly for other people. So
you can't be streaky on your wedding day.
No. We're not having that.
So this term, and I'm going to refer back to it, BFF.
Yeah.
Best friend forever.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
I feel like I was sitting at my desk at Women's with my friend Amy, and we were I'm like, what am I going to call myself? What am I going to call my business? And we said Lash BFF, and it just kind of stuck. And because I wanted to be your best friend for that thing. You come, and now it's just kind of evolved from there. I specifically remember sitting at my desk and we're like, yeah, that's it. And then it just kind of went. And then when I was kind of shifting gears, I wanted my name to not be just associated with that. I wanted something more neutral. And that's kind of where we just went with my BFF. And I tried to drop it for so long to be this, I don't want to say go to school, but like I was a complete switch from ultrasound, right? Like I was in the medical field and then decided to be in the beauty industry. And you see these people with these beautiful Instagrams and salons that are white and clean and modern. And, people try to tell me you need to attract those kind of clients and you need to have this and you need to have that. So I tried ditching the name and making my name more quote unquote professional and all this crap. And finally I was like, what the heck am I doing? This is not me at all. It's so hard to even love my job because I'm trying to portray something that I'm not. And not that I don't have a clean environment, but like, that's not fun. That's boring.
That Instagram filter, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Gina is active on Instagram. And I'm always throwing hearts at her because you're interactive. This is fun. And I'm going to say it. I'm putting words in your mouth, but you're being genuine. This is it. Yeah. But there's also this branding technique that you've given yourself. So how does that work with? And I'm just going to ask the hard questions now. How does that work with self-identity? You have this career that you've built where you are, the BFF to so many people, but you're piggybacking off of a career where it was very one-on-one intimate. And then you're piggybacking off of this career. It's like, I don't know if I should do this, but I'm just going to do it. And then stemming from this root of, I'm just this kid and I'm going to just try to fit in, but then also blend in. That is polar opposite of now saying, I'm your BFF and this is me and this is what you get.
Yeah.
So where does your, identity lie in all of this? Because this is a roller coaster of
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't come up with another word. Thank you. Things.
Yeah. I think I'm finally, like I was telling someone the other day, I hear people say like your 20s and your 30s and what you learn about yourself as you go. And I always thought, well. But I think it's becoming a little true. Like this has always been me. But maybe I've made myself small in certain areas or tried to be what I was supposed to be or what this business is supposed to be or this or that. But if you knew me and you knew my personality and talking, this is me. And now I think even just being at Bellissima and with the girls at the spa that I work at, we all just click so well and we bring out the best in each other. So it doesn't make me scared to just be me and bring all of that out. And I feel like there's still parts of me that's like, oh God, okay, am I doing it right? La, 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 la. But I'm having more fun doing it how I want to do it. And that feels good. So I'm just trying to lean into that more.
Yeah. So do you think as women, we always will have that little like you said, like that little sound in the back of our heads, like, I don't know if I'm doing this right.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever get rid of that?
No, I don't think you do.
No.
Maybe it's quieter. It's a lot quieter. I know even as I was like, maybe, I don't know. I don't even know what age. Like you see these women who are confident and some you're just like, ugh, like, but I was so insecure with myself. Like, I just couldn't understand how she would be like doing all this, or she just wants attention or this or that. And like, that's not the case. I was just judging someone because I felt bad about myself, and looking back, I think it gets quieter. Maybe you do eventually lose it. I haven't lost it yet, but it's getting less and less and less. And now I'm just seeing other people with more of an open eye too of, that's her because that's just her. And that's everybody has their own way and their own thing. And that's what makes the world so cool. But I
think there's this shift almost happening where there's more people out there being accepting of others, but that starts internally.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Once you start, internalizing your own acceptance and saying, hey, this is me.
Yeah.
Everything else just gets brighter.
It's so true. It's so true. And I think you can hear it a million times, but then things do start to click and it allows you to see it. And you're just like, oh man, I feel so much better.
The stars align.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm going to ask you this. You said you are now in a studio.
Yes.
You shifted from working at home, doing tans and helping women in that aspect from a home studio to now at Valencia.
Bellissima. It's a mouthful, but yes.
Bellissima.
Yes. Yep.
And that's a really big group setting with a lot of ladies.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Throughout your career, you've had these like one-on-one interactions, very intimate, and still do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just going to say it, with a lot of spray tans, you've seen a lot of parts of a lot of ladies.
A lot of things.
A lot of things that happen.
Yes.
So yourself in a group setting.
Yeah.
Is that where you thrive? Or do you think it's one-on-one where you thrive?
I think the best of both, but realizing now, I used to think, why would I leave my house why would I go pay rent or do this? I am a people person. And I think, that's why for so many years I loved women's, because I had a good group of girls to work with and I had fun with them. And now the girls that I work with are just like, oh, I just love them dearly. And we are like family, and we all bring just different things to the table, but we all respect different things about each other. And I think we all bring out the best in each other. They're always cheering me on. They're all, and I vice versa. And I think it just.
So your BFF pool got bigger?
My BFF pool definitely got bigger. Yeah. Yeah. And we all just cannonballed.
Yeah. So who is it that is in your life that has been the BFF? To you?
To me? Gosh. I've gone through a lot of different things, and it's hard to say, like, I think I always, like, my friend Nicole has always supported me in everything. And she was like the OG of all of us being an entrepreneur. Her parents owned a business, and right out of high school, she went with it. And it took me a long time to like get that small business, like idea mindset. And I think once you get it, you're like, oh yeah, duh. But, she's always been a constant and a supporter and a positive person in my life, which is always good. But it's like wild how my clients, who I've had every other week for an hour a day, have really become my biggest cheerleaders and my BFFs. Like, I feel like I hang out with them every other week, and I'm meeting one moved to Florida. I visit her twice this winter. Like, they're just like, they really are my people. And half of the girls, not half, but a couple of them who were my clients are now the people I work with, and they came to the spa to do hair. And I would just say it's wild how my clients have truly become the people that continue to motivate me, and they've seen me through it all, I guess I could say.
Yeah. And like, that's rare in a work setting, right? Yeah. But outside of work, who are those cheerleaders for you that have, inspired you and pushed you along this path?
I feel bad saying this, and I don't know if there's really been a specific person. My husband 100% has always supported me. Even when I was working at Women's and doing lashes at night, he was with the kids. Like, he's never told me no. He's always like, go do it. Go do it. What do you need me to build you? I built my room in my basement. What do you need me to do? Like, he has been so supportive. And if I work till 10, go. You want to go to Utah? Go. Like, he's never, ever hesitated once. Even if I was making $10 a week, he'd be like, if you're happy, do it. That's all I want. And so he's always been there for me. But I honestly can't say there's been a person, because.
Have you ever thought that maybe you're that person for you?
I didn't want to say it out loud, but I kind of feel like that. I didn't know if that sounded weird. I mean, my parents always supported me, but I'm not going to lie, I scared the crap out of them when I said I'm quitting my job. And they supported it because they knew how unhappy I was. And they knew that was not a good place for me. But, Gina,
yeah.
And I just really didn't realize how much I believed in myself until now, looking back. And I really never thought I wasn't going to do it.
You took a bet on yourself.
I did. Yeah, I really did. There really wasn't a one person. It was just.
It was you.
Like, I'm going to do this. And my clients and friends cheered me on, but I don't think anybody really grasped what I was going to do.
Do you think that's okay for women to be their own leader?
Yes, I do. I think you always have to have someone to bounce ideas off or to just talk things through, because I like that. I'm a talker througher. But ultimately, you know what you want. And sometimes it's hard to reiterate that to anyone else. And if you can just believe in yourself, it sounds tacky, but you're your biggest cheerleader, and you're also the one that's going to hold yourself back. So if you believe it's going to happen, just keep going and know that you're going to trip, but just keep going.
You think that's okay to trip?
Yeah, I think that's how you learn. I think every time I tripped, I felt really bad, or like I was failing, or it wasn't good. And now I look back and I'm like, well, shoot, because that happened, I did this. And I wasn't realizing how I was pivoting because I was so focused on, in the beginning, I wasn't confident in what I was doing. I just knew I was very unhappy at women's and needed out. And it just kind of worked that way. And I was just so scared of losing everything, but I didn't realize all the work I was doing. Like from the big picture, I was like pivoting, making moves, doing all these things, but I really wasn't giving myself credit. And I think you really need to look back and look at everything you've done. And again, people say that it sounds stupid, but we really do a lot. And we are the ones who are always going to be there for ourselves, you know.
How many kids do you have?
I have 2
girls.
Yeah.
What do you think when they see you in this entrepreneur world?
I think they think it's fun. They both want tattoos. But I think that I want them to see that they can do whatever they want to do. And I think by the way they speak and the way that they say certain things, I think they think that. And that's what makes me the most happy, is that they don't think that obviously every kid has a little bit of like, oh mom, or oh mom, but like, if she thinks she's going to do that, she doesn't think otherwise. Like, she's going to do it, you know, and I want them to be getting that from me.
I think you're teaching them how to be their own leader.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I hope so. I guess I never looked at it like that either, but gosh, I hope so. Some days it causes a struggle for me.
I mean, having an independent daughter, yeah.
I
mean, you can ask your parents, right?
Yeah, but I wasn't like that as a kid. I was like, my parents got so lucky with me. I say it all the time. I was such a good kid. My girls are good, but they are
Spitfire.
They are going to rule the world. And I just say, put me in a good home or buy me a place on the beach when you do, please.
So I have 2 questions for you in the last 2 minutes. One, first thing you think of, if you're going to ink me, what would you put on me? You're thinking too hard.
Okay. This, like, peace girl, you got it. Like,
love it.
I know it's millennial or whatever, but
hey, I know. It's all good. Okay, a peace sign. And then here in your last question, the signature question of our show.
Okay.
Wow, that was a big breath.
Gosh. No.
What is one piece of advice that you would pass along to a woman who's in the Great Lakes Bay region?
I would say, do you, and own it. And don't let anybody sway you. Just stick to you. And it may take you a little bit to find it. And it might feel weird or against the grain. But ultimately, that's what's going to make you the most happy in the long run and connect you to all the things. It's just do you.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
With that, peace. Thank you for coming in, Gina.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This is really fun.
And thank you for tuning in. That was Gina Wegner. And that's what she said.